Well, it's hard to believe Christmas Day has already come and gone, isn't it? I know I find it hard to believe. But for us as Christians, we don't just chuck our tree out the day or two after Christmas, although some of you may have, so no offense if you have. But we celebrate 12 days of Christmas. And so for us as a family, anyway, our celebration really begins with our services on Christmas Eve and gathering with family on Christmas Day. And during this week, we'll be visiting with family in Connecticut and Pennsylvania. And we keep our tree up well into January in our household. But I wanted to take a couple days here in these days after Christmas to look back at some passages from the Hebrew Bible or the Old Testament that really clearly influence the gospel writer's presentation of the story of the birth of Jesus. And there is no passage, arguably, that's more significant or drawn from than what's known as the song or the prayer of Hannah from 1 Samuel chapter 2. If you look at Mary's Magnificat, as many people know it, as Mary's song of praise in Luke chapter 1, as you've heard me say in sermons not only this year but in other years, that's clearly modeled after the song of Hannah. And Hannah's prayer or song begins, Hannah prayed and said, "My heart exalts in the Lord. My strength is exalted in my God. My mouth derides my enemies because I rejoice in my victory." And again, if you read all of Hannah's song in 1 Samuel chapter 2, all the way through verse 10, you'll see how much Mary is really echoing that song. And in both cases, you have women who end up having a very special son. In Hannah's case, she had been unable to have a child, and she had prayed and prayed and poured her heart out to God through sobs and tears and desperately wanting to be able to have a child and promising if she did that she would give that child up. Can you imagine wanting to have a child more than anything else in the world and then saying, God, if you bless me to have a child, I will give that child back to you so that he can serve you, which is what Hannah did. Mary, on the other hand, is most likely significantly younger than Hannah was. She was engaged and not even married and a virgin, and yet God sent the angel Gabriel to her to tell her she was going to have a son who was also going to be special. He was going to be the Son of God. So both Hannah and Mary have sons in rather unique and special circumstances, to say the least. And both of those sons, if you look at their songs, are going to bring good news to the poor. They're going to lift the needy from the ash heap, as Hannah sings, and that God will guard the feet of his faithful ones, but cut off the wicked. And so I just encourage you to turn in your own Bible, take a look at Hannah's song in 1 Samuel chapter 2, 1 to 10, and then turn to Luke chapter 1 and look at Mary's song as well, and see how the song that God has been singing through the centuries is still the same theme of good news for the poor, the hungry, and the downtrodden, and that's good news for us.